Hey everyone, first of all, thank you for watching Zenny 62 Live on Tuesday night, October 25th. It is a show with a different title because Godfather Grizz has some work-related meetings and tasks he has to take care of that have taken him over the time that we plan for him and I to join you to talk about Forever Oakland tonight at this time. So, I have shifted over to another subject that I plan to talk to you about before, and I think is important to talk to you about right now. In fact, it's very, very important. And let me put it this way. Hey, Octavio, how are you doing? Let me put it this way. Imagine, I'm writing this as I put it in because I'm going to put it in the description area, but I just got off the phone with Grizz, so I'm doing multitasking. And here's a point for everybody, okay, on the live stream and watching for your video on demand, okay? First of all, imagine that you are going to purchase a home, okay? Purchase a home, all right? Imagine that. And we'll purchase the land to build a home on. Purchase the land to build a home on, right? And I'm typing this as I write it to you, okay? Imagine you're going to do that. Build a home on, all right? Now, the first thing you need to do, one of the first things you need to do before you actually sign the contract to buy it, right, is to do a soil analysis and a ground analysis to make sure that you can actually build on the land the kind of home you want to build. You know, you're talking with the architects, you have ideas, you have a concept, but you have to make sure that this land that you're really interested in is such that you can build, for example, the caissons you might need. Maybe you're building your dream home. Maybe it's something like the Bob Hope home in Palm Springs, that home that was once put on the market for $30 million. I think it wound up being sold for $17 million. I still want it. I still want it. I still want it. The home that was based on the design for the John F. Kennedy Airport TWA terminal, that home. Let's say you want to build something like that, right? Let's just say that, okay? So, I mean, let's just imagine you want to do that, all right? The first thing one does is can have a soil and site study done, right? You do that, you do that before you sign the contract to buy land, right? Right? That's what you do, okay? You do that to buy land, okay? And for those of you on live stream, I don't want to say hi to everybody, but I want to get this point out first for those who are watching video on demand. This is vitally important. So let's say, okay, again, I'm repeating for those of you who just arrived. Imagine that you're going to purchase the land to build a home on. The first thing one does is have a soil and site study done. That's what you do. You do that before you sign the contract to buy the land, right? Okay, got it? All right, now, get this, okay? This is the new paragraph. Now get this. The Oakland Raiders had an option on the Russell Road site, right? Going back to last year. Remember that? They had an option on the Russell Road site. Okay? Right? Then, let's see, I think it was March 31st, about a couple of days after the NFL, maybe 3 days after the NFL gave them approval to begin the process to move to Las Vegas, right? March 31st, or days after receiving NFL approval to attempt to move to Las Vegas, right? And build the new stadium, right? And build a new stadium, okay? And build the new stadium. the Raiders started their soil and site analysis, right? They did that on March 31st of this year. March 31st, 2017, right? Okay. Then, after some months, on May 2nd, the Oakland Raiders officially purchased the same Russell Road site they were doing the analysis on. Right? 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 Okay. Get this, right? All right. So the assumption is, okay, the land checks out, like your house. It checks out. You're ready to build on it. So you write the check for the land, right? You write the check for the land, right? Okay. So you write the check for the land, right? Right? You write the check for the land because everything's checked, because, everything's checked out, okay? Everything is checked out, right? So, everything is checked out. Woohoo! Everything is checked out. You're ready to build that house. Well, similarly, the Raiders have bought the Russell Road property for $77 million. So the assumption is they've done the soil analysis starting March 31st to May 2nd. Everything is fine and hunky-dory, right? Yeah. All right, so fast forward to present day, and the Keystone Cops routine we have where, oh, by the way, and I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm saying. Forget what you're chatting. Listen up. By the way, we have our union boss telling us that on the 13th of November, there's going to be a groundbreaking. So everyone says, oh, yay, this is great. It means we're actually going to build a stadium. Forget the fiscal problems. Forget the cost overrun that's sitting in the face. Forget the parking issues. Forget all that. It's, oh, yay, oh, yay, oh, yay, right? Forget that the stadium developer, the Raiders, doesn't have a website of its own to control the message around which the groundbreaking is going to happen and the location and the time. Oh no, it's handled by, on the one hand, the union boss, and on the other hand, the Clark County Commissioner, neither of which are stadium developers nor have any stake in the ownership of the Oakland Raiders. Okay? So we got that going on. So then we have the same Clark County Commissioner, Steve Sisolak. That's right. Steve Sisolak putting out this wondrous tweet 20-something hours ago, all right? I want you to look at this tweet, folks, because it can only be described in one way, all right? And the description that I choose to have it described as is freaking hilarious, okay? Freaking. And no, I did not drop an F-bomb. It is freaking hilarious. It is totally funny. It is hilarious. It is tragic. And it is one more example of the Oakland Raiders not having control of the message around the stadium project that they are ostensibly designated as the developer to build, right? None of that, okay? No, instead they've got Sisolak out there, making the announcement for them, not the Raiders. So folks, when that happened, which you don't want to have happen, by the way, this is what you get. And I'm going to show you what you get, okay? Because it is totally sad on the Raiders' part and hilarious if you are a fan of stadium development, if you have any experience in even running numbers for stadium financing or anything like that. It is freaking hilarious. Look at this. I want you to look at this, okay? And because it's bad, all right? It is. There's no other way to describe what I'm about to tell you and show you at this point. It's just hilarious, all right? And here is what I'm talking about. As I scroll down, and right here, and show you what the BAM is. And here it is. Take a look at this, folks. Take a look at this in all of its glory. Right there. Yeah. That's dirt. Dirt. And what does it read? For those who are calling, the Raiders continue to do soil and geological testing on the Vegas Stadium site. You see the date, it's October 23rd, all right? Now, what does that mean? What does it mean? Wow. It means something that should not be. It means that the Raiders are not only behind schedule, it means that they haven't even done a proper determination of the site's readiness to do what they really want to do. Again, if you're buying a house, you make sure you've done all your analysis, then you buy the land, and then you start building. That's the way it's done. The Raiders started their soil analysis March 31st. They bought the land May 2nd, and they're still analyzing it. So let's see here. That's, okay, let's be generous. Let's say that's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 7 months. That's 7 freaking months. 7 months and counting. 7 months. It does not take that long to do a site analysis unless, hey, there's a money problem, which could be. There's a money problem. There's a site problem that no one wants to admit to. Or some combination of both. Now, yeah, you have to, at some point, when you've done your site analysis, the whole purpose of it before you buy is to determine if you can build what you can build. But you do not continue to do soil and geologic testing after you bought it, unless there is an environmental review that's called for, okay, after you bought it, so you have to do this environmental review. That's not the case here. All right? And even then, it's a good idea to get that part of it out of the way, to do all the due diligence necessary before you spend that money. So the Raiders did some due diligence, then bought the property, and are continuing to do their due diligence. And no, the Raiders have not officially signed a contract to turn the land over to Las Vegas Stadium Authority at this point. That's not done. And all of this is being done on the Raiders' dime. Okay? They're trying to make this look cute. But here's where we are. The Raiders have bought the land, and they're paying for all this on their dime. Which means what? This is still a project that's outstanding. When I mean outstanding, I mean like, oh, it's great. No. It's still not officially approved. The Raiders are not officially sure that they can do this. Because you don't embark on this and say, all right, we still have some analysis to do before we get started. Well, what if you find something where you can't do it? And there's something else that's really vitally important here. You do your soil analysis, okay? And you do your site analysis because it's going to determine for you how much money you're going to have to spend to be able to build what you're trying to build. And that really impacts the guaranteed maximum price, which hasn't been determined. And when that's determined at some point, then Bank of America can release its loan, and then the land turnover process, well, the land turnover process should have happened before that, Okay? And this deal could then be called ready to go. Folks, this deal is far from ready to go. I mean, far from it. Someone out there just said, oh, great, they're moving dirt. Well, no. No. Moving dirt does not mean you're trying to build something. Some idiot put up a photo saying, oh, they've already started construction. No. They haven't. Okay? They haven't. And here's the bigger problem for those of you who may be watching this and screaming something like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, yada, yada, yada. You know what? It's the Raiders' fault for this entire misinformation to begin with. When you work on a stadium development project, you show where the progress is. That project. Right? That's what you show. Where the progress is, okay? It's not there. This is horrible. Now, those of you, reason why I say pay attention is because sometimes, like, I got a call from a guy today who said, Zinni, you owe me an apology. And I said, why? Because you said the groundbreaking. I said, the groundbreaking what? You know, and I said, no, what are you saying? Well, you know, they said the groundbreaking wasn't going to happen. I said, I never said that. I never said that. I said the groundbreaking will happen at some point in time, but it doesn't erase the problems with the deal. I've said, and you've heard me say this for months now, that you and I can do a groundbreaking. How many times have you heard me say this? How many times you hear me say, you can do a groundbreaking, all you need is a shovel, you know, I have a hard hat, you get a hard hat, we put suits on and dresses, we go out, get a couple of dignitaries, we take a shovel and we move some dirt, and that's it. And when I say move dirt, I mean put the shovel in the ground, pick the dirt up in the shovel and shovel it into a bucket. Everybody claps, says a few speeches, and that's it. That does not mean you're going to get your stadium, folks. And if you're foolish enough to believe otherwise, well, you're a fool. I'm just calling it out now. You're being a total fool. Think about the flip side of what I'm saying. If this is done correctly, there's a nice website to look at. There is a stadium construction cam. You know what I'm talking about, or you should. And there's a process timeline that shows you, we are here. We want to be here. This is where we're going to be next. You know, keep a milestone on the Oakland Raiders' quest to build a stadium in Las Vegas. And it's exciting and it's an event. And they've got it online and all this great stuff, right? You don't see that. Wake up, please. Wake the frick up, will you? Get your head out of your rear and start thinking. Okay? I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, look, I understand there are people in Vegas, some who want this to happen. I get that. But just because you want it to happen doesn't mean you have to allow BS. And just because you want it to happen doesn't mean that you should allow someone to snow you. And just because you want it to happen doesn't mean you should not be able to ask the right questions. Especially when you got $750 million that's supposed to be on the table, but guess what? It's not. Okay? That's right. That bond issue has not been consummated. The deal has not been, that part of the deal has not been let. Way far down the table, okay? So, please don't bring that to me. All right, and so now I will get to the more important business of saying hello to all of you and getting your comments and opening up the chat. But the whole point is I want to bring that out there because I have seen, I mean, just so much crap. I am willing to admit that I need to mute myself when that happens. Okay? So basically, I'm willing to admit that we have to, I'm willing to admit when something happens that is outside what I thought might happen, okay? And or out, and I'm willing to admit when the stadium, and I've done it before, when the stadium is on track. And I've done it a number of times before. I have no problem with that. And I have nothing personally against anybody involved in it. I don't have anything personally against Mark Davis at all. I've said that before. I have nothing personally against Mark Bedane. I have only gotten after Mark Bedane when he has reportedly said something about, what I've said to somebody else. But, you can always call me and say, hey, Zinni, here's the skinny. Okay? And again, let's get back to my central theme here. One of them. The Raiders have lost control of this project and the message. They're trying to get it back, but they've lost the control. And not only that, they're being led by Las Vegas politics. The stadium developer is supposed to lead the stadium developers project. The politicians who are not developers are not supposed to be leading the stadium developers project because they don't know what the problems are. And what happens is that when they do that, they more often than not wind up at some point with egg on their face. Look at what Steve Sisolak has gone through. He's had to watch this thing's cost balloon, the parking problems issue, and you can see the expression on his face. And then look at these little times when he starts to backtrack. Like the time that he said, well, I'm a Packers fan. Okay, Steve, what are you telling us? When the Raiders do get their stadium, you're going to show up and root for the Packers? He said that. He said that. But think deeper, folks. Why say, oh, I'm a Packers fan? Is that another way of saying, well, it's okay. I helped it along. It's great for Vegas, but really, I like another team. Seriously? I mean, just think about that, folks. Think about the messaging there. Woo. Okay? Man. That's something. I'm writing now. The Raiders are still doing the site analysis. And it's October. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. And I'm writing think about it. Okay. So that's for the live stream that I've already fired up. And I'm going to put this in to the description so that in about 10 seconds or 15 seconds you'll be able to read it yourself, at least that part of it. Okay? Right there. All right? Boom. I'm really focused on this. I'm really hot on this, folks, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't like it. And I've said this before. I don't like it when something is put before me as if, oh, this is, that term, that cliche, done deal, all right? Done deal, all right? Give me a break, all right? This thing stinks. I mean, if you're going to build a stadium, make it fun for us to watch. Make it, oh yeah, this is cool, man. Okay, in Oakland we didn't get what we wanted. We still want it, but this is cool, man. There's nothing to say here. It's all, well, yeah, this kind of looks cool, but are you actually going to be able to build it? Yeah, this kind of looks interesting, this model, but can you afford it? Oh, that financing thing. You don't have anybody covering this or that. What's going on with there? That's going to cost you extra money? Oh, God. You know what I mean? Great stadium development is supposed to be exciting for the country. And if you're talking about NFL stadium, it should be a great thing. It shouldn't be something to dread, like, oh I'm scared. No, you should be excited. It should be something where everybody's like, yeah, man. But this thing is so poorly planned that you can't get excited about it unless you're a fool. Fools are out there to be taken advantage of, okay? But Raider fans, you know better. All right, with that, I'll take your comments. I'm going to work back. Hey, everybody. Welcome, and how are you? And as Rick Rice and Big April says, the Raiders tried the fast lane, now they're about to crash. Steve Macy says it was on Facebook through the We Stand With Oakland page. I'm sure Zinni has seen something. And I have no idea what I'm reading. What is this you're talking about? Wiggle Baby says, what happens to the funds raised from the hotel tax if the Raiders bounce since they have no liabilities? Wiggle Babies, that's the third time in a row you've asked a fantastic question. Star for you, Wiggle Babies. Here is the answer to your question, my friend. What happens is that the Raiders have a drop-dead date of, I'm going to write this right in here in black and white so you can see it in the chat, May 16th, 2018, all right? If all of the documents are not done and signed and approved by May 16th of 2018, then guess what? The stadium, by law, by the Southern Nevada Tourism and Investment Act, the stadium can be taken over by UNLV. What UNLV has to do is petition to either the stadium authority or the governor's office or both, and they have a 90-day response window for this, okay? And if they don't do that within 90 days, what happens is that the hotel tax revenue basically goes to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. However, if the UNLV does do it, then guess what? Cha-ching, baby! They get a reduced amount of the hotel tax revenue stream that they can use on a stadium of their own. And there's nothing in the legislation that says it has to be at that site. Just pointing that out to you, okay? Nothing. It doesn't say you have to use that site. Okay? So that's what happens. The Raiders are on a clock. Like, it's like the NFL draft, but bigger. The Raiders are on a clock. And what sucks about the way this deal is structured and is completely unfair to the Raiders is they're being jerked around by Las Vegas politicians. And they're in a situation that is so bad, they really, for their own good, need to get out of it. This isn't a matter of, oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh, no, this is terrible. The Raiders have got themselves in a bad situation, and it's only getting worse. They can spin it any kind of way they want to because, look, it's not in their best interest to do otherwise. They're trying to figure out different ways to make it work. Negotiate with Oakland to stay until 2022. Trying to line up some financing to fix the gaps. And undoubtedly dealing with terms on that financing that are onerous because the people that they're negotiating with know they've got them over a barrel. Okay? And they haven't turned to the NFL ownership yet. I talked to one NFL owner and I said, hey, do you know, I'm not going to say who. This was last week. I said, hey, do you know that the Raiders have this drop dead date of May 16th, and I explained why in detail? And the owner, who's a longtime NFL owner, said, that's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time. NFL owners know a thing or two about building stadiums. Okay? Excuse me, a thing or three. So, all right. So there's the answer to your question. Now, I'm getting to the rest of your comments, and let's see here. And as I said, if you're tuned in, Godfather Grizz says the work he's doing, he apologizes. He'll be back. This is like work that puts money on the, in your pocket and food on the table and all that stuff. All right. So Big April says they're going to be here for 2022 and beyond. Like Zenny said, by next year something will be said to start the backing out process of the deal. And as he says, don't they need to sign a relocation agreement first? Actually, I think Hennessy is that. Let's see here. This is the way it works, Hennessy, and that's a very good question, all right? The way it works is that there are two relocation agreements, Hennessy. One has to do with the Las Vegas loan. Excuse me, not the loan. Come on, you idiot, Zenny. It has to do with the $750 million planned proposed subsidy. That calls for a non-relocation agreement. Then the Bank of America loan calls for its own non-relocation agreement. So there's two the Raiders have to sign, but they can't sign those non-relocation agreements until the land that the Raiders are doing the soil analysis on is officially turned over to Las Vegas Stadium Authority. Why? Because the way bond issues are done, the Las Vegas Stadium Authority has to be the owner of the property as the government entity. And then it lets the bond issue using Clark County's bonding capacity. Okay? It is the joint powers, it is essentially a joint powers authority between Clark County and the state of Nevada on behalf of building this facility. That's the idea. It's very much like the Oakland Alameda County Joint Powers Authority, which let the bond issue for the Raiders Stadium configuration that was applied to the Coliseum in 1995. All right? That's why you would be very correct in calling this Raiders deal number 2. But, again, the bond issue cannot happen until the Raiders write their agreement stating that they are not relocating. They're stuck. Then all that money gets unlocked. But until that happens, the Raiders are making absolutely certain, hey, look, we can actually do this right here. I could also sinisterly say maybe the Raiders are looking for an out. You know? I'm just saying, this is not a good deal. It's not exciting to watch. It just isn't. There's a lot of trepidation and fear and miscommunication and mismessaging with this deal. And I don't care what anyone says, all right, who says opposite. They're wrong. Every single deal. I remember I went to a groundbreaking for the Fruitvale Transit Village in Oakland when I represented Mayor Harris. We had full-on, first of all, we had the design. We knew what this design was going to be. We already owned the land. We didn't have to worry about that. We had every dignitary there. We had the head of the Department of Transportation at the time, fly out from Washington. We had Bay Area officials and dignitaries. It was exciting. And that person, the head of the Department of Transportation at the time under Clinton, came with a $750 million check. Ooh. Okay. So, you know, that's the way you do a groundbreaking. You do it when you know exactly that this thing is going to get built. That's why this one is kind of like, oh, you're doing a groundbreaking? Okay, fine. Fine. All right. Now, I hope that answers your question, Hennessy. Let me get back to, now, if you put out a question there and I missed it, please copy it and paste it again, okay? And Barry Lee, if you're with me, can you please put this out on Twitter under hashtag NFL? I'm about to do the same, okay? I'm a little bit behind in putting this out on social media, but I wanted to make sure that I got the essential message of this that was going on, all right? And now I'm putting it on Facebook and Twitter, hashtag NFL, hashtag Raiders, hashtag Oakland, hashtag Las Vegas. And that's on Facebook, okay? Oh, hashtag livestream. And there. And this is out. So, boom, that's out, all right? And so, I believe G. Taylor says Mark's next deal will be a relocation to Alpha Centauri. Oh, jeez. Rick Rice says, Barry Lee, good night. Rock on, brother. You the man. Barry Lee is the man. We have a lot of the men here. Rick Rice is the man. Wiggle Baby says, Zinni, do you have any new info on the A's ballpark? Not beyond my news about Abel Guillen that I got on Friday in my conversation with Steven Tavares, who's a local blogger, about how Abel could try to scuttle the A's project depending on where the political winds blow. Now, who's Abel Guillen? He is the Oakland District 2 council member. Fine man. Old blue. Cow guy. Great guy. Okay? But there are none people, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't agree with how Abel handles these infrastructure issues, particularly when they have to do with sports. It's really middle of the road, yeah. But, and that concern is spilling over into the A's project, where there are people who believe, like Steven Tavares, that his way of opposing a project could wind up killing this project, because he has already said, hey, look, I'm concerned about, and rightly so, the displacement of the current residents, or some of them. Right. He has also said that there need to be mitigation efforts, but he has not come out in favor of the project. He hasn't said, hey, look, I'm going to help you get this done. We're going to save the neighborhood. Everyone's going to maintain their homes, and we're going to live on and be happy ever after. Abel has not said that. If he said that, he could write his ticket to re-election like that. But he hasn't said that. So the fear is, hey, he could kill the project. There's your news, all right? So, Google Baby says, what? Man, we need that ballpark, though. Yes, we do. I'm only informing you, and this is also on the video, of what the talk is, okay? So I'm not saying anything that I came up with whole cloth. This is a conversation Mr. Tavares and I had that I put out on a separate video. It was originally as part of the live stream during the JPA meeting. Savage, here's a name, Savage, 1502. Was that the year? Anyway, Savage says, if the A's move, will the opportunity for Mark to cancel Vegas and take over the Coliseum site? I did ask that question at the JPA meeting, and I didn't get a direct answer, but I can tell you Coliseum City, I've said this the other night, Coliseum City is not dead. Keep that in mind. Or as John Marks says, yes. Hey, Bernard, how are you? Hey, Rich, good. How are you doing? Richard wants a summary. And, Steve May says, Zinni, check your question right above. Okay. If the A's move to open, will it open the opportunity for Mark Davis to cancel Las Vegas and take over the Coliseum site? Yeah, that's already open because the A's have already said we're vacating. Which, makes this entire situation different than it was before the A's announced their ballpark decision. So yeah, that's already a viable possibility. Okay, now, and Steve Mason says he's made his question. So I have to go back and find Steve's question. Zinni, did you see the letter from We Stand with Oakland? No, I did not. Where is it at? Please tell me. And Wiggle Baby says, have you spoken with anybody about why the A's chose Lake Merritt, Laney spot over Howard Terminal's waterfront spot? Yes, many people. And Bernard says, we don't need the A's, man. Well, we do. Let me get back to Wiggle Baby's question. The reason for the selection of Laney over Howard Terminal has to do with the loss, with the complications that are produced by what's on that land now in terms of terminal, in terms of cranes, and in terms of machinery that needs to be moved, in terms of other concerns that business people there have about losing their abilities to get deliveries to their businesses because of construction at the site, okay? That's a gigantic fear. And then, of course, there are the environmental concerns that have been levied by some residents in Jack London Square. Those are three. Then, of course, there's the other one, which I don't agree with, which is the distance from that site to BART, which is currently at 12th Street, Oakland City Center. I think that's a wonderful opportunity to get people to walk down Broadway, that 5 or 6 blocks, or take a shuttle and have them feed into the stores and shops and bars which are opening around there, okay, on their way to the A's game. So I don't really agree with that one at all. But I'm saying that's what was presented. The Laney College property is easier to deal with. Let's just face it. It's, when all is said and done, it's a field. All right? It presents less complications from the perspective of what it is than Howard Terminal does from the perspective of what it is. Howard Terminal has cranes on it that have to be picked up and moved. There's a lot of prep that has to go on there. It doesn't have to happen at the ball field. But the ball field, because of the size of it, does call for business relocations nearby that cause its cost to be greater at the end of the day. But for a different set of reasons. If you're just talking about the field itself, it's like, hey, we got green, we can do that. Woo! Right. But it has to do with replacing the ball fields and impacting the businesses nearby. But when you look at it from the standpoint of its walkability from BART to the ballpark, it's closer and better. It's closer and better with respect to its distance from the lake. there's a lot of reasons it works, save for the issue of gentrification and cost. All right, so those are the reasons. Hope I got that out of the way. Now, the Bernard says Coliseum City is a dope idea, which is still alive, I might add. Paul Venus, how are you? He says, where does Forever Oakland stand without the JPA support? Pretty much the same place that they have been. And I think, as we talked about on this show, the JPA support was always kind of like, from my perspective, was like, you really think you're going to want to try to get that? And what happened was I think a lot of effort was placed on that, but Godfather Grizz, if he were here, would say, well, no, we've got a plan all worked out, and we're going to move forward. I can't say what it is, because he said that to me, but we're doing just fine, and he seems quite energized and jazzed and excited. So I would not feel or take the view that this effort is moribund or jettisoned or ending, okay? It's just changing its shape, okay? That's it. But I said the other day that I do understand, though I don't agree with, the JPA's idea that it would be liable if it lost the lawsuit. Because look, we sued the Raiders before. And there has never been a legal change in such a way that, contrary to what one council member told me, such that, oh, you would lose our shirts and blouses now, versus in 1983. I'm sorry, there's nothing on the books to point to that. Nothing. Now, the JPA claims, the city side of the JPA claims that the Raiders, that they got their information from Jim Quinn. Having said all that, I believe Godfather Grizz has something going in the works. Welcome to Zenny 62 if you just joined. We're talking about Forever Oakland, Godfather Grizz, Las Vegas, the stadium problems there. Welcome. Happy to have you. But at any rate, Godfather Grizz is not throwing in the towel at all. He's gone full steam ahead, and I expect some more great news to come from this, very soon. So there we go. All right. Now, we've got, let's see, I think someone was saying something here. What was the next one? Oh, James McClendon says, Dr. Death said that this is pseudo groundbreaking, might be more symbolic than actual groundbreaking. Well, yeah, he says, spoke to the fact that who's paying for the project, this is more posturing and grandstanding. Well, I'm glad Dr. Death is listening to me, because I'm the person who said that. Bernard says, but it's already too late for all what? But anyway, Bernard says, but it's already too late for all that. All what? Oh, by the way, this is a double shares night, and MLC 831 Scott put in a major investment the other night, and I will get the shares out to him tonight as well. So, but just want to let everybody know this is a double shares night. A double shares night. So here, as I write invest and say, bam, there's that is coming up on there. Okay, now, we've got, Savage says, I read an article that talked about the possibility of trying to start a Major League Soccer franchise in Oakland. Have you heard anything about this? I have heard from a number of people. There are council members working on it. There's been an effort in existence for a few years now. It's just getting into the rap bump with the popularity of Major League Soccer. I'm curious to know where you saw this article, because I'm behind in keeping up on that, and I need to work to get ahead of that curve. So I'd like to know where you saw that article. Savage Steve Macy says, on We Stand With Oakland on Facebook, the city has agreed to add the item for further discussion at the next open session. That's good. And that has to be the work of Ray. And I'm talking about Ray Bobbitt, because I remember off camera he said that was, actually he said so on camera too, but off camera we were talking more, and he said that what's to stop us from putting on the agenda? And Nate Miley said, there you go. Hey, thank you for the investment, Mr. Venegas. Thank you. And he said, And I remember Nate Miley said, there you go. So I think it's a good idea to keep talking and keep moving on this. And from Godfather Grizz talk with me and lifting his voice, he's got something up his sleeve he's comfortable with. And that's I don't know what it is. So Coog Snipe, how you doing? Coog Snipe says, Paul, Forever Oakland already knew the JPA was going that route. And G. Taylor says, do you believe the Coliseum loses money during Raider games? Personally, no, I don't. And when Scott's talking about operating costs, see, my question is, if the Coliseum is losing money and you have 50,000 people there, then there's something that we're not doing to maximize our revenue from. How can you lose money from 50,000 people? Okay, 50,000 times 10 is what, 500,000, right there. Boom. So you maybe have some sort of way of getting a $10 fee from everybody that comes in there, and maybe you spread it out. Maybe you have a gate fee here, and thank you for the investment, Farrell. You have a gate fee here, or you have another fee there, right? Some kind of way of combining them so that at the end of the day, you get that $10 per person without really getting that $10 per person where they feel it, okay? That's what I'm talking about. I mean, for example, I walked into, this Raider after party, and it's on the video. When I walked up, I thought maybe there was going to be a cover charge. There was no cover charge. You just sort of walked in. Why not have places where you have a cover charge for things, during the game? Gigantic, long bar area that is kind of like this, terrace where you can look at the game and hobnob and everything else. That is an expansion of the current club setting, right? Or, hey, better yet, why not have a cover charge for the East Side Club for the game? Cover charge that's active at halftime. If you're not a club ticket holder, you got this, halftime only fee that you pay to get in, and then after that you got to leave. It only lasts for halftime. Little things like that. So when Scott made that comment, my first thought was, gee, well, why are we in that situation? How come we're not maximizing our ability to get, more out of the patrons that are there in a way that's not onerous to them? You see what I'm getting at? So when I hear that, I'm like, I don't know. Hey, Scott, how you doing? I hope you're watching. So Wiggle Babies asks, so Zinni, by May 13th, or is this 13th? This is 18th. Would you say that it's a day we know if the Raiders are going? No, by May 18th, it's May 16th. It's May 18th, 2016, right? So Zinni, by May 18th, 2016, would you say it's a day we will know if the Raiders are going with Vegas? We'll have a better idea prior to that. If it gets, I don't believe it's going to be that far, but we'll know a few days before that. But I would say that's a fair mark right there, that we'll have some idea, okay? And that's critical. Yeah, it's critical to the future of the Raiders. One way, and Oakland. It's critical. So yeah, that's very much the date. Now, if they get the UNLV agreement done, then that date fades away. Why? Because, hey, they've got the agreement done with UNLV, and the Raiders don't have to worry about the UNLV taking over the project, right? Because they have the agreement done. So if they have the agreement done, here's the thing I'm thinking about. They can have the agreement done and still not have other documents out of the way, like the total development agreement. So hold on a second. Let me shut up there. They could have that agreement done, but yeah, the 16th. Thank you, Jamal Mills. Hey, thank you for the investment, Jamal. Thank you. But the May 16th, 2018, not May 18th, May 16th of 2018 is a pivotal date. That is a red letter date right there. So let's just keep it simple, mark it. Because they being the Raiders, could have the UNLV agreement, but other documents not done, and there would still be a problem. And UNLV would be sitting back there and saying, yeah, we got our agreement done, and oh, you're having a problem over there? Give us the dang thing. And then take it. That can happen. Okay? So, that can happen. I don't trust the situation in Vegas. And if I'm the Raiders, I am very scared. And I'm looking for a way out. I'm looking for a way out. Because who's the champion? Okay? I mean, you have the governor of Nevada saying, or putting qualifiers on whether or not the Raiders stadium deal is going to get done. That's scary. Excuse me, let me get back to your comments here. Kook Snipe, great to see you. I'm glad your bowling arm is back. That means I can kick your ass, finally. I did say that. Ooh. Anyway, LX9933. Oh, Bernard says, we've been knowing that for a while, man. He says, what's the difference from the JPA and the city? Don't they want an Amazon campus instead of the Raiders? Not sure if that's true. And Alex, that is a brilliant question. This is what I figured out, and I'm glad you asked it because it opens up a conversation, opens up the me to explain to you again a conversation that I had with Oakland District 7 Councilmember Larry Reed, and it went like this. I said to Councilmember Reed, hey, what happened was that, all right, it was, I don't know if you've ever been to Oracle Arena, but it's that place where you come in and, you know, you go in down to the stadium, you go down to the first level, you go down the second level, and BMW Club is there, right? Anyway, you know, Ray Bobbitt was on this side, Larry Reed was on that side. The decision had come down from the JPA, and Ray was mad. Ray was like, you know, I thought he was going to, he was like, you could tell he was tense, man. It was like kind of like that Bruce Banner tense. Like he was going to like bust out of his shirt and become the Hulk, like, right? So I was thinking, oh man, I got to protect Larry because, you know, I like Ray, I like Larry. Yeah, I love both of them. You know, I didn't want them to get to that situation. So I said to Larry, Larry, you're saying to me that the JPA is afraid of the damage that it would have to absorb if it lost the lawsuit. He goes, yeah, you're exactly right. I said, okay, I understand. I didn't say I agree, but I understand. The reason why I say that is because we sued the Raiders in 93. We lost, 1983, stupid Zenny. We sued the Raiders in 1983. We lost, but there wasn't this gigantic price tag that we had to pay. And there's nothing in the law that's changed that says today we would have to pay that giant price tag. Sorry, it's just not there. So, and I'm told that Jim Quinn and Eric Gottschall, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, wrote in a report to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority and the city's attorneys that such a damage was possible to happen. Now, I didn't see the document. I wish someone had shown it to me because I would have been very, very, very happy to write a brief explaining why that's bullshit. And I don't mean to be insulting to Jim Quinn, but just because a person has a title lawyer doesn't mean they know it doesn't mean that you might know antitrust law, right? But it doesn't mean that you know the history of stadium lawsuits with respect to relocations and damages and what will come down the pipe. All right? So it's not a good idea to throw out a potential that, in point of fact, has not occurred before. Just invent things. Don't invent a reason. You know, don't invent a reason for the JPA to say no because they will take it like that. Boom. So there we go. All right. So, hope that answers your question, LX. Lamont Stone, here's comments. This says, low TV ratings could force the NFL to step in and stop the Las Vegas move. I have family in the Midwest who hit me after the game last week saying the Raiders need to stay, and the A's move helps pave the way. You know, I could see that happening. I'm not saying it's gonna. Kook Snipe says, Zenny, anytime you want to go bowling, I'll pick you up in the Forever Oakland Vet. Hey, I like that. You got it. When I'm in town, we can settle the score. Did I just say that? Ooh. Anyway, hey Jacob P, how you doing? So, John Mark says UNLV needs to stonewall the Oakland Raiders move. I got the impression that they're kind of doing that. Really. Jacob P says, news? Yeah. Well, the news basically is the title. It says, while Las Vegas plans NFL stadium groundbreaking, Oakland Raiders still doing site soil analysis. If you're going to buy a house, you do your site analysis and your soil analysis, and then you sign the contract to buy the land. You don't start the analysis in March and then buy the land in May and then continue your analysis later as if you hadn't bought the land and you're not quite sure if what you want to do can be done on that property. But that's what the Raiders are going through. So, all right. Now, let me see what else I missed from here. And Rich Guyton says, this deal makes no sense for UNLV. The deal makes no sense for the Raiders. And John Mark says, I'm calling UNLV tomorrow and telling them not to sign. Kevin KD says, UNLV should just stonewall the Raiders. Again, that's what's happening. Mark Davis loves the Coliseum site, says Savage. I feel like if the A's leave, Mark will be tempted to stay, and I believe you're right. And Kevin KD says that I still feel like UNLV does not need the Raiders. There's something going wrong for this thing to just drag as long as it has. And I point out to you this. The November 9th meeting of the Las Vegas Stadium Authority is one off the last meeting of the year. And there's no rush. Remember, they cancel a meeting. There's no rush to schedule yet another meeting, okay? Remember how they had early on, before the NFL vote, they were stacking on meetings. They had extra ones. They're trying to get all this work out of the way. It was like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You don't get that this time. Interesting. Pedro Gallardo says, I have read converting Oakland Stadium from baseball to football cost $400,000. That's a little more than that, but that's true. Lamont Stone says, I invest in Zinni, and I thank you for that. And John Marks says, Kevin Gay says to John Marks, if I'm not mistaken, I think that the Raiders don't even retire the number of their most legendary players, and that's true. Except, yeah, that's true, because there was, Ken Stabler had 12, and Rich Gannon had 12, okay? And Wiggle Baby says, no, next year it's apparently LA, second team in LA and Miami. Before that fall in 3 or 4 years, it's apparently favorite for Sacramento. And the other 3 is unknown. And Kevin KD says, hello. Michael Modrano says, yes, you should. And I'm not going to do that, Michael, because, Michael, I'm not going to, because I'm just going to say this straight out. I've seen your posts in other places, and it's not like you actually ask a question to learn something, but the bottom line is what you put out there is wrong, okay? So I'm not even going to entertain it at all. I'm not even going to bother. And so, at all. So Rick Rice says, hey, Zinster, Mark Davis pay off his parking loan, not debt yet? I'll find out tomorrow. And I will find out tomorrow. So, where are we here now? The latest. John Mark says, it's happening, Vegas trolls. John Mark says, I'm going to find a court injunction to stop the Raiders move to Vegas. He's going to file it. And they did retire Jim Otto's number, as John Marks informs. Thank you very much for the information. And, yeah, thank you very, very much. And I will now tweet this out. I'm behind tweeting this. And, I want to say that, look, I will pay attention to anybody that runs a spreadsheet on this. And I mean, as I've done. But the so-called other lease analysis were not that at all. Frankly. Because, in fact, it was just, I'll just say this straight out, it was a joke. Okay? And I'm not being kind here because, and the reason why I'm not is because when I say I'm not being kind, I'm being candid. I'm being candid. The heck with it. No, I'm not being kind. I don't like sloppy work. And that work that's put out there is sloppy. You put out something so that when a person, writes a spreadsheet, as I've done, you can go back and look at the spreadsheet and do your own math. I haven't seen that. What I saw from one person is cherry picking different things they read in different publications, and in such a way where it didn't make any sense. I'm not going to waste my viewers' time going back over that stuff. And the reason I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to mention that person's name, is because that person wants to be, gain their internet fame off me talking about the crap that they put out. No, not at all. I'd rather talk about Dr. Death. I gotta get Dr. Death back on this show. Dr. Death, Dr. Death, as John Mark says, though, you know what? Hey, Kook Snipe, good night. Give my best to everybody, including your wonderful son. John Mark says, when you do sloppy work, that's not business worthy. And it is not at all. Oh, by the way, I was putting out this tweet. Share. I put that on Instagram. I put that on LinkedIn. Now this is hashtag NFL, hashtag Oakland, hashtag Raider Nation. Raider Nation. There. And bam! There's the tweet. And all done. Okay. Then I'll put out another one. Hashtag live stream. Excuse me, go like that. Hashtag live stream. There. Oh boy. Okay. That back there. And I couldn't. Let's see here. There. All right. Okay. Now that I've got that down, what I'm checking for next is, I want to see if the Governor Sandoval has weighed in on this. Okay. China shuts down tens of thousands of factories in unprecedented pollution crackdown. Wow. Anyway, let me see what Governor Sandoval, the great Governor Brian Sandoval in Nevada, is saying about the groundbreaking. Because if the groundbreaking is done correctly, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, Governor Sandoval should open it. That's the way you do these things, all right? So, he's got, let's see, October 19th. Governor Sandoval has nothing about a groundbreaking. Nothing. He's got the Embassy of Poland. He retweeted this. The Governor Sandoval and Nevada officials have signed agreements with Polish authorities doing a trade mission to Poland. And, hey, you know what? What goes better in Las Vegas than vodka? Polish vodka. Polish vodka. Polish vodka. Vodka. Vegas. Vodka. Vegas. You get the idea. I can't wait for CES. Woohoo! Hey, folks. Vegas strong, baby. Hashtag Vegas strong. But I can be hashtag Vegas strong and point out that I want the Raiders in Oakland, and I don't want them to take a sucky deal in Vegas just because. It doesn't look good for them. You want the best for the Raiders. Better for them to be here in Oakland than the deal in Vegas as it's unfolding. And unless you're going to tell me in the next breath that Sheldon Adelson's writing a new check, it's a new day, and that hasn't happened. So, but getting back to Governor Sandoval's Twitter account, look at this, folks, because I want you to see this, okay? Bam. All right. Here we go. This is Governor Sandoval, the great governor of Nevada, and I don't say that facetiously. He's done a fantastic job. That's him with the Embassy of Poland. Note the date. This is October 19th, okay? And he's termed out, sadly. It says, Governor Sandoval says, this letter of intent provides a path for us to offer acceleration programs to innovative Polish companies, okay? And he says, detailed Nevada's continued success this morning in front of the European Congress of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises in Katowice. That's part of the Polish delegation, okay? And then 18th. All right, so I'm scrolling down here, and basically I don't see any early announcement about the Raiders groundbreaking. I see nothing on here, okay? Nothing. Where is it? I don't see anything. Now, maybe he's retweeted something, so let's check the retweets. We'll go back to the 13th. Clean Energy Summit, October 7th. Okay. And then, of course, we had the Vegas Strong effort and the 1 October tragedy prior to that. Whew. An eventful last month for the governor of Nevada. Let's see if there's been any tweets or retweets. Retweets, excuse me. Now, there's a retweet we noted. Letter of intent. The governor Sandoval himself has apparently retweeted. And no, nothing. Okay? Nothing. All right, so my point is this. Once again, we don't have anything. We don't have anything from the governor of Nevada that indicates that, hey, you know what, he's going to be, and I'm not saying he's not going to be, but he's not out there tweeting, yes, groundbreaking, I'll be there. Woo, okay? He's not doing that. So again, it doesn't look good. Wow, all right. Getting back to your comments here. Rick Rice has said, hold on a second. All right. Oh, prior to that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Wiggle Baby says, I have a feeling Detroit and Sacramento are 2 of the 4 that will be expansion teams for Major League Soccer. Major League Soccer even posted this design. Gregory Alderette says Trump is just 6 Senate votes away from impeachment. Newsweek. Wow. Wiggle Babies. Oh, by the way, for those of you talking about others, I didn't see any of these so-called other experts about this Vegas deal at the NFL owners meeting last week. I was there. Hi. Anyway, okay. So, and look, the bottom line is you really need to understand this deal, period. That's why there's so many people that have fallen off from this as it's become more complex. Now, Wiggle Babies had some... What is this video that you're posting here? Oh, let me go back here. Wiggle Baby says, I have a feeling Detroit and Sacramento are 2 of the 4 that will be expansion teams for Major League Soccer. MLS even posted this design. Oh, okay, I get it. So you want me to take a look at this design for soccer. Okay, let me do this. Because that's a good point. If Oakland's not in the running for expansion, that does kind of tend to hurt things, doesn't it? Let me see what this is. So, let's see here. All right. Boom. We've got, what do we have here? Oh, boy. Clicking on that, and here's the YouTube for, what is this called? What is this title? Fortunately, it says Proposed MLS Detroit Stadium Design. Hey, let's have a look at that real quick. Hold on. Since Wiggle Babies is kind enough to post it, have a look, all right? Well, of course, that's not it. That is a commercial. We'll skip the ad, all right? And we'll unmute this. Uh-oh. Got to do that because it's not my copyright, so I got to be careful there. But you can get an idea of what this is. Detroit, and if you've ever been to Detroit, the other side of that is Canada. And I'm going to freeze this right here so that you can get the lay of the land. This is Ford Field, where the Detroit Lions play, and Super Bowl was held in 2006 that I attended. Great Super Bowl between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks. Well, I was rooting for the Seahawks. It wasn't that great. This is the proposed new Major League Soccer Center Development Complex. This is where the Detroit Tigers play. Really neat, right? Look at this neat sports nexus. Now, folks, this is the way sports should be done. This is the closest you're going to get to what the Coliseum has right now in Oakland. Okay, So let's move forward a little bit. See if, yeah. So we get an idea. Can go in and have a look at what's going on here. Ooh. Very bright. Look at that. It's sunken. It's kind of like a subterranean deal. You know? It's like earth sheltered design. Really neat. I like it. But given the Detroit weather, I wonder why it's not domed. You know? But hey, there you go. Detroit is, and that's where we should be in Oakland. Now we want to do something. Here's the problem that I have with Oakland. The way Oakland does things, all right, is it's always, I got my group over here, right? And oh, wait a minute. These are, let me show you this. This is something that I thought was really interesting, all right? This is a map of all potential Major League Soccer expansion teams. Take a look at this. This is pretty trick. Look at this. This is there, all right? Now, that's obviously not Vegas. Okay? Here, look at this. This is Major League Soccer. I believe that's Sacramento, okay? And Los Angeles is one. I'm just letting this run. Miami. This is the list. Miami. Okay. This is the list. Look at this. Raleigh, Indianapolis, Detroit, St. Louis, Nashville, Phoenix, Sacramento, San Diego. Let me do that again, all right? Let me do that again. Let me do that one more time. See that? Let me do that again. Indianapolis, Detroit, St. Louis, Nashville, Phoenix, Sacramento, San Antonio, San Diego. Okay? That's interesting. And then it goes through the different cities in some detail. All right? So my point is, let's go back to this map and freeze it. Let me let it develop. Oops. Missed it. There. Oops. Missed it again. Missed it again. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. There. And we freeze it right there. Did I miss anybody? No, I didn't. Yep. So let's do it again to make sure I didn't freeze anybody. And we freeze it. Okay, look. All right, so now we've got Detroit, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Raleigh, Charlotte, St. Louis, Nashville, Tampa, St. Pete, San Antonio, Phoenix, San Diego, and Sacramento. I don't see Las Vegas there, and I don't see Oakland. Okay, so there you go. All right, now, but that was a valuable find there. Okay, put this back up here. Get rid of that. Put that on there. Get back to where we are. Okay, now. Okay, Google Base says, hey, that worked. Yes, it did. Kung Lao says, yes, Sacramento probably going to be one of them. Eric Young says, hello, everybody. Eric, how are you? Hope you guys brought Eric Young up to date while I was doing that, and I'll circle back and bring him up to date. So, and Gregory Aldrich says, he's one of the best governors I've ever seen. Governor Sandoval has done a fantastic job, and this is from a Democrat, okay? A fantastic job. He understands the unique place that Nevada is, in Las Vegas and Reno. He's done a wonderful job of balancing the politics and ushering Nevada into the 21st century smartly. Governor Sandoval, high marks. I hope I have the honor of meeting that man one day, although he probably will say, Zenny, God, I hate your videos, but, it's okay. I admire what Governor Sandoval has done. I really do. So, Baller says, hey, Zenny, is the Raiders signing a lease through 2022 because they want to stay in Oakland, or they're waiting for Vegas Stadium to be built? Well, both, because think of it this way. If they really wanted to move to Vegas, they would have done something with Sam Boyd Stadium. In fact, there's a photograph of Mark Davis touring Sam Boyd Stadium. Has anyone ever seen that? Has anyone ever seen that? He's was photographed with Lim Jessup and a couple of other UNLV dignitaries. That was April 4th of 2016, all right? So the Raiders' untold story is what they couldn't get done at Sam Boyd Stadium and the reason why they couldn't get it done. And at the end of the day, it always has to do with money. How much money you have to spend versus how much money you're going to get out of it. Now, think about StubHub Stadium where the Chargers play, okay? The Chargers, on paper, aren't getting as much because the stadium is smaller, but it's owned by StubHub. So here we have, all of a sudden, just 2 days ago, StubHub emerges as the ticket reseller for the National Football League. So you're going to tell me that there wasn't a connection between StubHub Stadium and that ticketing deal? There was. They managed to arrange something. But with Sam Boyd Stadium, the Raiders didn't have that kind of luxury. That way of turning around and saying, okay, we can use this for cheap, but we can do an exchange and, that sort of thing. Or maybe we can get this much out of it and that sort of thing. That didn't happen. So it wasn't worth the Raiders even trying to do that. And then, of course, there's the problem that it's going to take a long time for that stadium's gigantic set of problems to iron themselves out at that site with that economic proposal, with that law. That law really screws the Raiders. And I'm talking about the Southern Nevada Tourism and Investment Act. That really hurts the Raiders. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The original idea of having a tax increment revenue zone where you could have additional public money to use on roads and highways, that helped the Raiders. When they took that off the table and then Sheldon Adelson walked, okay, your financing flexibility took a nosedive like that. Just did, okay? So, Eric Young, nobody's saying no groundbreaking. No. Don't go around pointing that out, okay? I will ban you for putting out fake news like that. I would tell you don't come back, don't bug me, don't find me on Facebook, nothing. No one ever said there's not going to be a groundbreaking. So they never fucking put that out there. And there's my F-bomb for the night. Don't do that. Okay? Knock it off. I never said that. I have pointed to, and this is where I get angry because we seem to be in this it's not even intellectually, this binary phase of society where it's like ones and zeros. It either happens or it doesn't. Well, no. What I'm talking about is how things are done. In this case, how groundbreaking has been done to the point where right now it looks like a Keystone Cops routine. You've got the union boss announcing it in a paper, not the Raiders. Then you've got the head of the county commission backing in that announcement, not the Raiders, okay? And the Raiders don't have a website that is dedicated to stadium construction so we can track it. And the Raiders are not taking the lead on the messaging regarding what's happening with the stadium, and yet they are the developer. That is what I'm talking about. This whole thing already makes the Raiders look bad to anybody who knows how these things are supposed to be done. That is what I'm talking about. And when you have that problem, it opens up other questions like, well, okay, if you're still analyzing the soil, when are you going to be done with it? What happens if you find something that you can't do? Are you not going to then turn over the stadium land to the Las Vegas Stadium Authority? Are you going to sell it? Why is it taking you 7 months to analyze the land? 7 freaking months. 7 freaking months. And I repeat, 7 freaking months. Okay? Why? Just asking. All right? But Eric Young, take that back. Take that back, or you know what? I'll delete it. Because No, that's not fair to you. Take it off there. Or just say, okay, I get it. Just say you were wrong. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because I never said that, all right? Whew, got worked up about that one. Take it off, okay? All right? Now. All right? Now. Raider Kuko says, Zinni, look at the Seattle stadium layouts. I was hoping to see Oakland could have similar football and baseball stadiums side by side. Now I just want the A's to leave the Coliseum site free for the Raiders. Yeah, I agree with you about that design, completely. Corvette says, Lynch is out. And, was that a new development? That just happened? Hold on a second. Let's go and, let's type Lynch. Lynch. Let's see what happens here. Lynch. You say Lynch is out. Latest. Lynch. You say Lynch, you're talking about the suspension thing? Or his suspension was... Oh, yeah, 4 minutes ago. Yep. Let me see if that came up on NFL media website. Hold on a second. Thank you for alerting me to that. Because if it came up in the form of a press release, we can all look at it together, right? Let's see what happens here. Sign in, play football. And, okay, I got the injury report, NFL transactions. NFL expands work with Tuesday's children. Andrew Senato suspended 1 game. That was 23. Thursday night votes. Nope. Okay. So let's see if there's any NFL transactions. This is so new. Waiver requests. Atlanta, Joe Villo, no tackle. Let's get down to the Raiders. Let's see here. Raiders. Yeah, this is freshly new news. Oakland. Nope, it is. It's here, okay? I found it right here. Take a look. All right? Take a look. Bam. Marshawn Lynch, reserve suspended by commissioner less than 1 year. What does that mean? Wow. Reserve suspended by commissioner less than 1 year. It doesn't say 1 game. Reserve suspended by commissioner less than 1 year. Wow. That's it sounds like somebody broke the hammer down. I gotta look at that one. It sounded like somebody broke the hammer down. See, you saw that, right? You saw that. Marshawn Lynch. Let's see here. Lynch absence creates the chance for Raiders Washington. Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, right. Marshawn Lynch ejected for unsportsmanlike conduct with an official. Yeah. Chance the Rapper. No. Okay, here. Oh. Let's see here. Marshawn Lynch and LeVar Ball. Yeah, Lynch suspension upheld upon appeal. But, okay, he's been suspended without pay for 1 game. But see, what's interesting to me, and you saw it, it's that NFL wording, right? Where it said less than 1 year. Huh? What does that mean? So, I'll have to run that up the flagpole and see what that's about. Anyway, Rick Rice continues that Lynch is a cancer to the team. I disagree. Wiggle Baby says 12 cities put bids in, 6 expansion teams with first 2 years. It's rumored that LA's second team and Miami are entering next year. And we didn't put an expansion team bid in. It's Oakland. Wow. Only on Top says didn't get a notification. You didn't? Hey, did you click on that bell? You have to click on that bell, okay? Corvette says Lynch is all about himself. Wiggle Baby says no. Oakland, Las Vegas because the deadline extended for the next expansion set. Okay. John Marks says, I've been at the Seattle Safeco Field and CenturyLink Field. Awesome stadiums. I've been to the Seattle CenturyLink Field. Love it. Kevin KD, Rick Rice Imagine Le'Veon Bell donning the silver and black. Ooh. Rick Rice says, I agree, Corvette. And when they put him talking about Lynch, and they try to design plays that center to him, and actually they don't do that. Rick Rice, we've had that discussion before. They have not designed plays for Marshawn Lynch. So I'm going to ignore that one. But it's for one game. Kevin KD says, Bell and Matavius Bryant, the silver and black. Bryant can replace Seth Roberts. Let's see here. And Corvette says, yeah, I agree with Rick Rice. Le'Veon Bell would be fantastic for the Raiders. And Seth can't catch. Okay. Lonely on Top says, stay in Oakland. Kevin KD says, Corvette and Bryant and Roberts are both tall speedsters. But Bryant is an elite level playmaker, has the closest thing to Randy Moss I've seen. Rick Rice wants to put a quarter in and tell him to sprint past the safety on every play. Interesting. Okay, so we've got a number of patterns, points here. Okay. And, all right. Pedro says, once the A's and Warriors leave, what will happen to the land? Demolish Oracle Arena? No, because Oracle Arena is a valuable place to hold concerts. I remember I had a conversation with Mayor Schaff about that, and she gave me an answer that I found rather, and it was, she said, well, there are some people who want Oracle to remain, and I see that. And I'm thinking, look, we have the only really, really cool, great big arena that hosts concert events outside of San Jose. So why would you want to give that up? And it's close to the airport. We have a weakness in the MICE industry. MICE is an acronym. It stands for meetings, incentives, conventions, and entertainment, okay? So it's a cute way of saying, look, we don't have a large convention center. Our convention center is about 150,000 square feet, and that's it. We don't have enough hotels. We have maybe 4,000 at best. We need at least 10,000 hotel rooms in Oakland. We are severely under-roomed, okay? And if we had more hotel rooms, you know what? That would actually take some pressure off the housing prices around, because people would have alternative places to stay, here and there, right? We don't have that. We don't have enough meeting rooms. And this is in a tourist area. And then we've talked about wanting to make Oakland a tourist center for decades. How can we do that and we don't have enough of the developments that it takes to have tourists in our city, including the big enchilada, which is that gigantic meeting room we call an arena like Oracle Arena. Hey, come on. Nonsensical. Completely nonsensical. And it's why the mayor gets hammered for, leaning toward developers too often rather than sticking to a plan. All right? And Libby can do that if she wants to. Okay? So, all right. So there you go. There's your answer, Pedro Gallardo. And Crawford says, I wonder what we will see on the internet this week about Buffalo tailgates. Last Sunday, a woman was put through a table WW style. Oh my God, that's horrible. Did the woman get arrested? I hope so. Hey, Rick Rice said he didn't get notification. He just had a feeling it was about that time. Hey, thanks, Rick Rice. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you don't get a notification, check and see if you clicked on that bell there, all right? And Joseph Binsman says Cooper definitely earned more catches after last game. Oh, boy, what? 210 total yards receiving? Lonely on Top says Rick Rice laugh out loud. And Blaylock says the ref went up to Lynch and almost wrapped his arms around him to slow him down. Anything Lynch did was going to look bad unless he started to back up. Yeah, but Marshawn should have kept his tail on the bench. That was stupid. Okay, I've never seen that before. That was just kind of like, why did you need to do that? And I understand that Marshawn is frustrated because of the running game's issues, and that's the Raiders' fault. But at some point, you have to check yourself. There's that saying, folks. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Marshawn wrecked himself. A little bit. He'll recover. But check yourself before you wreck yourself. There's an old saying, all right? Kung Lao says, imagine Forrest Gump in his prime on the Raiders. Citron says, Raiders should stay in Oakland. Raider Nation. Wiggle Baby says, yeah, Oracle works with events and would be amazing if we build a convention center on the lot. Yeah, the Coliseum could go through if Raiders built it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of space there to do some really neat convention-oriented activities. There just really is. And John Mark says, bring the NHL to Oakland for Oracle Arena. Wiggle Baby says, man, don't tempt me to ditch the San Jose Sharks for an Oakland NHL team. Why not a rivalry? Again, we've got enough, and I meant to make a breakout video from this. We have enough population size for 2 NBA teams, 2 NHL teams, a WNBA team. You know, we are woefully behind on this stuff. It's ridiculous, okay? Crawford says, 371 says, the city is backward when it comes to developing sports and entertainment opportunities and building hotels in Oakland. Yes. Wiggle Baby says, we used to have the Oakland Seals, but they moved and got absorbed into another team. Wiggle Baby says, now we got the San Jose Sharks. Yeah, which, to me, the Sharks should only be thought of as fodder for some Oakland team. Just beat them into the ice, you know, at some point. I'm just saying, just sort of sitting out there waiting. We like shark meat. That's what our subtitle ought to be for the Oakland team. We like shark meat. I'm starting the rivalry already, okay? We don't even have a team, and I'm talking crap, right? So Kevin KD says, well, the Western Conference does need another team to balance out the number of teams in the NHL to 32, 16 each conference. Yep, the Dallas Stars. Eric Young says, again, I was merely asking a question. I'm sorry for any misunderstanding. Eric Young, apology accepted. And I have to explain that the reason why I acted with such veracity is because I received a call on as if I had made such a statement, and I never did. And so I'm very sensitive, as anyone would be, to someone saying I said something that I didn't say. Part of the style that people have to get used to with what I do is the fact that I tend to issue takes that are rather multifaceted. They're not either this or that. It's more like, okay, they did this, but here's the problem with what they did, and here's why I thought it was a bad idea. Okay? That's the whole point. Like the groundbreaking is a bad idea. I will say, just to make it simple for everybody, they shouldn't do it. But I understand why some forces want it to be done now. First of all, it was originally part of the plan, and then of course we had 1 October, and now there's this anxious feeling to make it say, hey, we're back and all this, right? And I get that, but don't make a mistake along the way, and I believe that's what's about to happen. So, Wiggle Baby says, rumors are that it's Seattle or Houston, but Quebec has been ready for a while now. They got deferred for Las Vegas Knights. I'm going to stop at 15 after. It's 1:04 right now. But Eric and I fully appreciate your apology. Rick Rice says, they put Cooper in the slot in a lot of plays. That was the key. Ding! Pedro says, thanks, Zinni. Oakland has a great music scene. Black Sabbath! Yeah! Playing in Oracle Arena last year. Happy I don't have to go to LA for a concert. Rick Rice says, shark meat is high protein. Yeah. And Eric Young says, NHL in Oakland would be great. Personally, I would love arena football in Oakland. Well, yeah, I agree. We've never had it in Oakland. Ever. What would stop us from having the Oakland Raiders in the Arena Football League? Hey, I like it. Corvette says, Raiders can't afford to lose any games before the bye. Nope. John Mark says, Oakland Invaders Arena Football. Corvette says, we need to be 5-4, talking about the Raiders' record. We need to beat Buffalo. Rick Rice says, we need Oakland. Hey, you know what? I encourage everybody. Has everyone ever seen, women roller skating, roller derby? Support your Bay Area and your Oakland women's roller derby teams. They're fantastic people, okay? Eric Young says, geez, no wonder you were upset. Yeah, I was upset. And Big April says, Raiders need these 2 games bad. KC or Denver will fade. Watch out for Chargers. Yeah, and to be, completely transparent, the person that called me was Jim Selinsky. He's a PR guy, and he put out on Facebook about the whole thing about the Raiders leaving and it's a done deal and all this. And I called and I said, hey, well, what's going on that you're putting all this stuff out now all of a sudden? And, Jim is going through, he's fighting cancer, all right? And so we need to give Jim Zielinski our prayers and sympathies. But it doesn't mean I have to give him a pass and let him do that, right? It's like, come on, dude, you're my friend. Why do that? But, and of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But it was he who called me with that today and said, you owe me an apology. I'm like, I don't owe you an apology, all right? Because he heard what is misinformation in that, the groundbreaking means this is a done deal. It doesn't. It does not, all right? Okay, Bay Bear Bombers Roller Derby, says John Marks. Lonely on Top says, we can beat the Bills. They have gotten better, but we've beaten them 2 times in a row, different seasons. Kevin KD says, I knew the Broncos would eventually start to fade slowly. Yeah, fade. That was more like, I would never have called that. And that's a game I didn't see. And I'd like to go back and, take a look at it, find out what happened. I've got the NFL Game Pass now, so I can watch that on my, I signed up for it. I paid Octavio, I paid the $74, right? Boss Your Ruler now chimes in, man. But you came in, and I was going to sign off at like 1:15 my time, which is 10:15 your time. Boss says, Bills game will be very tough. Good defense and can run the ball. Plus, it's an away game. And Kevin KD says, man, I hate those ponies. Them ponies. How you doing, boss? Boss says 10 a.m. start. 10 a.m. start for the game. Got it. Rick Rice says, Bills are stiff against the run, but their secondary is weak. I wouldn't be surprised if we won up by 20 points this weekend. We need an early lead because the Bills aren't built to come from behind. I agree. Basharua says, I don't like My Little Pony Mountain Miles of Denver. Joseph Bensman says, thought the Chargers would win the game, but didn't see 21-0 coming. No, I didn't. But, the Chargers they started off slow, to say the least, right? And then all of a sudden, the last 2 games, wow, they've been, man. And in fact, let's check and see. Let's give a look at what the AFC West looks like right now, okay? .com. And see where we're at. Seahawks, the Seattle Seahawks just signed Dwight Freeney. Whoa. For 1 year. I'm sorry, he's still got some gas in the tank, okay? That's a great development for the Seahawks. That's a great one, all right? And Brian says the Steelers won't use me. I want out. Raiders. All right. The Giants general manager Floyd says, what is this? I gotta read this. This gave me this started to make me chuckle a bit. But Giants. Right here. All right. Jerry Reese, the Giants GM, says that they need more passion. Passion? They need a lot more than passion. How about better coaching? Wow. All right. Standings. Here we go. We've got AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs are 5-2. The Denver Broncos are now 3-3. The Chargers are 3-4, and the Raiders are 3-4. So that's hey, you know what? That's close. So if the Raiders were to win, they would be 4-4. And if they were to beat the Buffalo Bills are 4-2. That would put them at 4-3. So and they're behind the Patriots. So that's a critical game. However, if this is a big game for the Bills. If the Bills win, they are tied with the New England Patriots, okay? So it's a critical game for the Bills. Very critical. If the Raiders lose, they would be at 3-5, and pretty much, back to where they started, where we started before. If we win, we're 4-4. We're at 500. And if, let's say, the Chiefs lost, all right, they would be at 5-3, and we would be, wow, very close game back. And so this is a pivotal week. I mean, every week is pivotal. You can always see that angle where every week is pivotal. But this is, given where the Raiders have been, for the Raiders, this is truly a must-win week. So you would say, hey, Zinni, what's a not-so-must-win week look like? It looks like a week where the Raiders won, but everybody else lost. That's in the AFC West. That gives you a bit of a cushion where you can say, okay, maybe we can afford this one. And then, of course, the losses would have to come to common opponents in the AFC. All right? And then you say, okay, we dropped one, but we won one, everybody else dropped one, and so maybe you don't really want to look at it like that. You want to look at it the opposite way. You want to say, hey, look, they all dropped important games. We won a game. So if we win next week, we're on top, and this is a great foundation for us. The Raiders are not there with this game, okay? But if they win this game, the very next week could put them in that position. Now, all right, so we've got, okay, Crawford says Cutler is an embarrassment. Hey, bring in, and Eric Young has a prediction, 38-21 Raiders. Aaron Laylock says the Raiders lost 4 in a row this year, the year they went to the Super Bowl. Hey, Aaron, thank you for reminding us of that. Bousy Rula says Cutler is a coward. Bring in Colin Kaepernick. Pedro Gallardo says Chargers play Pats next. I'm hoping for an upset. Oh, wouldn't that be huge? Wouldn't that be huge? Rick Rice says Dolphins are better without Cutler. They should put him on IR. And Bousy says the Chiefs are not losing to Denver. Vigo Baby says, yeah, if the Raiders lose, the season is just about over. Yeah, it's not a good look, And as Eric Young tells us, the Raiders can beat the Bills. Or as he says, the Raiders can beat these guys. Kevin KD says, just on NFL Network, there are rumors that Bruce Arians might retire, which he denied on Twitter. Oh, I hope not. He's such a class guy. So, yeah, really huge. Yeah. Kevin KD says, well, even though I think lowly of Bill Callahan as a person, he was a brilliant offensive mind. Agreed. Corvette says, yeah, they did. But the Raiders started 4-0 and then lost 4 straight under 500. That's sad. Yep. So Boss is predicting 27-24 Raiders. It's 113, and I'm going to start bidding adieu to folks because it's 113 and... Oh boy, I made a video earlier to give a verbal obituary to my longtime friend and mentor, Chester C. McGuire, UC Berkeley professor, founder of the Berkeley Planning Associates. Hey, thank you very much for the investment, by the way. Thank you very, very much for the investment. Founder of the Berkeley Planning Associates. His family, great friends. His son, Michael McGuire, died at 48 of a massive heart attack. Very sad. Chet McGuire has died of prostate cancer. He had a 14-year battle with it. I'm going to fly back to as it looks help out with the funeral Thursday. Then I'm flying back here for Mom. It's a tough week all around. Barbara Guillaume, who played Benson, passed away. Also prostate cancer. Black men, in particular, okay, prostate cancer is a killer. Make absolutely certain that you are doing everything, not just the checks, okay, but I'm going to say this straight out. Make absolutely certain that you maintain your pipes, you're clean, or everything you can do, to make sure that your operation is as great as it was in your 20s, in your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, okay? I'm saying it just like that. That means go to the gym, exercise, stay off the booze, Okay? And, hey, look, Chet McGuire lived until 81 years old. My father, rest in peace, passed away at 79. My stepfather, Chester Yerger, passed away of prostate cancer at 82. I hate prostate cancer. It just drives me nuts. But I end this broadcast sending my condolences his way, and thank you everybody else, and they'll be back tomorrow. All right, and yeah, as the Crawford says, get checked, follow up, take care of yourself, and make sure, absolutely sure, you get in the gym, work out, and as I said before, keep your pipes clean. And I'm saying that in a very sanitary, clean way for everybody. But you know what I mean. All right, good night, everybody. I'll see you all. And Bow, stay off the tequila, man. I'm telling you. That's going to catch up to you. See you guys. Well, don't stay off the tequila. Have it with water. Drink a lot of water. But that's, whatever. That's your call, man. I'll see you all. You the man, Rick Rice. You the man. Later, Wiggle Babies. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. All right. Good night. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Rick Rice says to bounce on the sauce. That was funny. I gotta get that was hilarious. Good night, John Marks. Good night, everybody. I'll see you. Oh boy.